Welcome back, everyone. This is CCB Fozzie, joined by Apathetic Brent. We are going to try and fail to follow that amazing ad that you just saw. We're here for the last match before the break of Day 3 of the 11th Alliance Tournament. This is Angeli Mortis versus End of Life. End of Life bringing a setup they brought a bunch of times last weekend. Angeli Mortis bringing our first Fleet Typhoons of this tournament. It's kind of cool, but it's also way under-peopled. So it's not a lot of people on that team. Not usually a good sign. Let's take a look at the bands. What do you think of these bands here, Apathetic Brent?
I think Balgor and Dominic's really standard. Don't want to deal with long range. Don't want to deal with newts. Armageddon Vulture, that's 90% of your drone ships, except for the ones that they brought.
Yep.
So there's Vector Navy issues on the side of End of Life, which are a fantastic ship. Five heavy drones. And a decent amount of tank, and they also bring some utility to the field, so it's good. But I think the overall overarching theme is tons of damage, and that's what we're about to see.
Yeah, both teams can do a lot of damage. They can't apply it too well until they get up close for the Angeli Mortis team, which is an advantage that End of Life has. They're going to have sentry drones on these Vector Navy issues. They can just drop and then spread out. They're using them to try to kill that Celestis, it looks like. The Celestis of Ryan there, and Angeli Mortis is taking damage, but he's holding just fine right now.
There's also some damage on the Korvax and the Maulus and the Vector Navy issue of Gabarin. I'm guessing that that's probably partially missile spam from those Typhoons, which don't seem to be like they want to rush right in, which is a bit odd in my opinion.
So this is super intriguing. What we have from the Angeli Mortis team is an Armor Tinker team with Fleet Typhoons and Navy Dominixes. Not what I'd usually expect for a Tinker
No,
setup.
that seems counterintuitive.
So these ships are in a lot of ways have throwback bonuses. They have the same kind of bonuses that the Tech 1 versions of them used to have before the Odyssey changes. The Fleet Typhoon gets gun bonuses and missile bonuses. The Navy Dominix gets gun bonuses and drone bonuses. So they do a ton of damage because you can use both of them.
Right, and the Fleet issue Typhoon does still have a pretty decent drone bag.
Yes, it does.
Right.
Yeah. So it means it also means that you can't apply all their damage out at long ranges. They're not going to be hitting very well with this Dominix at long ranges or with the guns on the Foon. So it's a bit odd for a setup that's not all that super mobile. We'll have to see. Yeah, it is blasters on that Dominix Navy issue. He's not some kind of weird rail setup.
I would think that they could have done the implementation here a little bit better. But I'd like to see End of Life just take the Vindicator, get on top of him, and just try to power through some reps here.
Yeah, I mean, that Aneros is getting cap transfers, but you can't get the same sort of benefit from an Aneros that's armor tank that you can from like a shield logistics that could have a giant ASB.
Absolutely. Can we figure out what the Vindicator is?
Yes, I'll take a look over here, wherever you are. There you are. And he is, at the moment, just kind of casually moving across the field. He's not moving too fast.
How do you do? I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Now he's got his micro-warp drive on. He's
go.
taking his time to get over there.
He is getting a decent amount of damage on him, though.
Yeah? Yeah, so this is where he's going to start to get huge. Now he's suddenly going to have the blasters and the guns, as well as those missiles and drones on him. That's going to be a ton of damage. We'll have to see. This is the kind of setup that I have to imagine Angeli Mortis is very vulnerable to teams kiting them, which the Navy Vectors can, but that Vindicator doesn't need to be up close to do anything. Now, he might go in for a bump. This is another thing that can be very powerful against these. No, he's not. He's just sort of hanging in there.
He just kind of meandered into the middle of them, and we'll see some actual damage go down, but I see webs on the Oneros. It looks like that's what he's going to be primarying.
That's what I would do too, I think.
Yeah, it's going to take I think it's going to take a lot more
though.
DPS than that. Yeah, he is getting really low. But again, kinetic thermal is not the best thing to try to chew through an Oneros. It is doing some appreciable damage, but the Vindicator is holding on a little bit.
It's a tough choice for this Vindicator. I mean, like, he's only in danger when he's up close, but he's also only useful when he's up close.
Exactly.
And we've got their Damnation now in nuding the Neros. They're trying to get some cap pressure on them. I don't know if it's really going to make that big of a difference. The Vindicator is, holding out surprisingly long time for being sitting in structure. And meanwhile, that Aneros is actually dropping. And that Vindicator's
pulling back.
Wow, it's possible that that Aneros, did he get damped for a bit? I don't even I might have missed some damps.
There's also a decent chance that with the reactive armor hardener, the things got easier as they went. The Oneros goes down. They're putting some damage onto the Celestis, which is good. Get the damps off the field so your logistics doesn't have to work so hard. I'm expecting that soon we'll see the Navy Dominixes go down first, because up close with blasters, I would imagine they do have the higher damage potential.
Vindicator, though, no longer reps on him as we see damp effects on that Aneros. So it looks like they pulled a very classic tournament move for Angeli Mortis. Let the Aneros, let the opposing logistics feel that he's safe. Let him just fly around casually. Don't worry about damping him, and then throw damps on him. And then at that point, he's often out of position, and you've caught him by surprise. And that killed the Vindicator. The Vindicator was doing fine until they damped the Aneros. That was very clever use of the damps for them.
Absolutely, and it's a tactic that we've actually used a lot in the last year or so. It's just damp dump. If at a critical time, and switch all damps to one ship and just hope for the best. We've got a target painter on the Damnation from Angeli Mortis. I doubt that's what they're going to shoot next, but it looks like they might be going after the Tristan or Blackish person.
Close to them, which may be a reason to try to shoot it. Because everyone else there can kite. And as we noted before, this isn't a Angeli Mortis team that's great against the kiting ships.
Right. So they could put sentries on other things and then just use the close-range guns on the Damnation. Although they're not actually implementing that strategy. They're just target painting him for the sake of target painting him.
They're trying to kill the frigs. And you know what would really help them kill the frigs?
A target painter.
Yeah. So it's very likely that's just one that's being misapplied onto that Damnation, as well as the damp on your Damnation that's right on top of you.
Yeah,
not the best choice.
Not super effective either.
But they are going to get the... Oh, wow, that Tristan pulled back from structure. As we see more frigs now dying for Angeli Mortis as well, it's really going to be a question of if they can break these battleships. In the meantime, though, End of Life does actually have the points advantage. So they could, if they wanted to, just run away.
I feel like it's going to continue to go that way too, because I feel like the more effective sentries are on the side of End of Life, but at the same time, that Oneros just took all of its shields damage right away. Yeah. So we'll see if he's able to keep himself alive.
He's quite a ways away, or I think he is. So it's looking at someone else. Yeah, he is still quite a ways away. But it looks like they've got guards out. Some Federation Navy guards, which have better tracking, but aren't really great in other ways compared to the normal guards. That's something that we've talked a lot about last week, and why the Dominix was such a popular ship to bring. The Dominix Navy issue is actually a very different ship than the normal Dominix. The standard Tech 1 Dominix gets bonuses to drone damage, but then also bonuses to drone tracking and optimal range, which allows you with sentry drones to hit small things well and hit them very far away. The Dominix Navy issue replaces that optimal tracking bonus with a gun damage bonus, which means it does more damage overall, but it doesn't apply drone damage the same way that a normal Domi does.
You can't just pick a target at 100 kilometers away and make it disappear at the beginning of a match.
Yeah.
So the Navy Dominix of Angeli Mortis is actually getting into about quarter armor here. At the same time, we're in danger of losing the Oneros. 3 minutes left. I honestly think that I think End of Life will probably pull this out.
I think it's definitely the advantage of End of Life. We also are seeing this Aneros smartly moving away from those guard drones.
As far as you pointed out, they do not have the range bonus on the sentries. So, especially with guards out, you're talking break 50, 60 kilometers, and the damage is going to drop off drastically.
At this point, I think that Aneros is only taking damage from the missiles, which he will still be taking slight damage, but he's got a whole bunch of rep drones on him, and those rep drones might be enough to keep him alive from the 2 missiles of the Typhoons as the Dominix goes down. So we're going to have to see if that Aneros survives, but actually it doesn't really matter too much, because I don't think that Angeli Mortis is going to be able to pull this back.
There's a huge point disparity at this right now. And even with the missiles, I mean, it's a roll bonus with logistics to have a lower SIG, right?
They just have low base.
Yeah, low base SIG on all Tech 2 logistics ships, so it's not something that missile damage is applied very well to.
Nope, and so they're now primarying that Fleet Typhoon. It was a smart primary going for the Dominix first, because it's the one that can apply the better long-range damage with the drone damage bonus. Yes. The Fleet Typhoon can also do the missiles, but those missiles, like you said, aren't going to do the great damage to the Aneros. So you saw just how much damage that Aneros was taking when he was getting hit by the guards.
Yeah,
moved out of range, and then they killed the Dominix to finish that off. And
the rep drums are making him look nice and tidy now.
Yeah, so he's slowly pulling back his armor, and I don't think Angeli Mortis is going to be able to break anything significant at this point. They might be able to snap kill an Algos or something, but it's a little bit too late for that. 1 minute, 47 seconds left.
We could see the Typhoon go down, but I mean, I think that's the most drama that we'll get out of this.
Yep.
So pretty well piloted by End of Life, pulling range, getting away from the unranged bonus guards that they had out. The Vindicator probably could have been put to better use, but he did hold on for a long time. Good use of damps by Angeli Mortis to, make that pivotal turn, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah. I think it's been really cool to see this first half of the day, which is the very beginning of the second half as well, is all teams that have already lost a match, which a lot of people might say all these teams are going to be not nearly as good, but they've been some very solid piloting.
There's been some great matches
very solid
here.
Setups. This has been a really, really great first set. What would you say, Brent, is your favorite match of this first half?
It had to be, I can't use the word because I know it's yours. Well, you want to use it. But it had to be the rattlesnake that micro jump drived away in the nick of time.
So I stole it. I'm stealing it directly from Stream Chat, so we have to give credit where credit's due. But I think the rat troll snake was an amazing move. Exciting in a lot of ways, just great to watch.
And it was a very close match. If he hadn't done that, then the points would have gone the other way, and it would have been just a really good piloting. It was very drama filled. So that was probably my favorite match of the first half of the day.
Yeah. So the one thing that we actually missed announcing here, sorry about that, is that the Vindicator there for End of Life was their flagship.
Have we gotten a value on
Yes,
that
it is.
yet?
So that Vindicator did die. So although End of Life is continuing on, they cannot bring that flagship again. That Vindicator's going to die. Sorry, I missed the note. That flagship was worth 1.6 billion-isk. So probably just some faction webs on it.
Some
nothing super
faction webs on it.
But that's still a very powerful ship. And very effective.
Absolutely. And even though the little bit of extra range that you get out of the faction webs is still very good on a Vindicator.
Now we've got time up. So this is our last match for the break. We're going to be taking a short break so we can get some food, and you guys can all go get some food as well. And sending you back quickly to Soundwave in the studio to sign off before our break, and then we'll be back in like half an hour.